All right, guys, what's up? How's everyone doing today? We got a lot to talk about. Shout out to all the JSB insiders, guys. Shout out to we're currently conversing in our Discord. Shout out to Enki. Shout out to Power 144. Shout out to Manny. Shout out to Rest in Peace Phoenix Main. Our Discord. Who needs other social media platforms when you got our JSB Insider Discord? It's pretty dope, especially if you're a fan or a nerd of boxing like we all are. There's a lot to talk about. When I went to bed last night, Top Rank did not have a streaming deal. Woke up this morning, Top Rank has signed a multi-year streaming deal, reportedly 8 to 12 fights a year with DAZN, which is great. Why is it great for us boxing fans? Why is it great for us boxing bettors? Because we know the more Top Rank cards there are, the more A-side fighters we bet on to win money. We should do a statistical breakdown and see the winning ratio over time of Top Rank A-side fighters. We have a lot to get into. We've been going back and forth in our Discord about Ammo Williams and Carlos Adames. I didn't think it was controversial, but there's money coming in on Ammo, and so that's always open and up for debate. You guys hang around my channel long enough, you'll know that when I upload my breakdown, prediction, stats don't lie videos, we don't have to agree. So you guys know I'm taking Carlos. I think the biggest question here between Carlos and Austin is, will it go the distance, or will Adames break Ammo down and stop him? So that's where I'm still torn. Guys, pinned right there on the screen and in the comment section, become a JSB Insider. Enter, our Discord just broke 430 VIPs. You can either join on YouTube, become a JSB Insider on YouTube, get a star next to your name, get elevated in our live stream chats, members-only content, become a Patreon. We launched the Patreon in January. We're approaching 100 Patreons. Same thing, all my bet slips, all my tickets. That's a community in itself. Whichever one you join, either on YouTube or Patreon, you get access to our Discord. We're going to look at the odds today. Still not everything is out. We got a lot of cards this weekend. I know Kevin Newman's fighting. That's one of our boys' skills. In the Discord, it's his boy. He's thinking that has upset written all over it. George Liddard is fighting a really interesting fight as well. If you follow my Instagram, I put up on the story, there's a 50-50 fight. There's some good boxing on this weekend, guys. So a lot to look forward to. You know, we do this week in and week out. And it's Tuesday at 10 a.m. and we're already in full swing. So I'm going to say my what's ups to everybody. And there's skills right there. Kevin Newman plus 260. He's not on my books yet. I should know who he's fighting, but is this the Elijah Garcia opponent? Is he fighting Elijah? I know Kevin's on a winning streak. He's won, what, 7, 8 in a row? It's still not on, it's weird. That fight's still not even up on BoxRec, and I'm not getting it on the books yet either. Yeah, what's up, Ricky? This is where I'm torn. I could see Ammo lasting, but I could also see Adames breaking him down. Ammo has a lot of defensive flaws. He keeps his chin high, exits out of the pocket with his hands down. Could be susceptible to be hit to the body. He's an all gas, no brakes guy. He has one speed. He throws everything at the same pace. Doesn't really have setups. His balance is not that great. He puts himself in bad positions by over punching. He's there to get countered. He's a fan-friendly style. I've always put Ammo Williams B-level domestic guy. And dude, Carlos Adames is a world level guy. He's a world champion. And I think Adames is going to show levels here. And so it's like, when Ammo starts getting hit a lot, is he going to fade? Is he going to take a lot of damage? Does he go out on his shield? That's the thing. That's where I'm torn at. Will Ammo go the distance, or will he get stopped? Yeah, I guess people in my Discord have said that Teddy Atlas is taking Ammo. I also just found out that Teddy Atlas charges $40 for his Discord. What a criminal. $40 is insane, dude. Come to my Discord. $7, baby. Become part of the squad. $40. Well, that's crazy, dude. Shout out to Teddy Atlas, brother. Mick Conlan still fighting. Look, bro, Mick Conlan, and I'm gonna say what's up. I'm gonna catch up to the chat. Mick Conlan could be sparring with you, Dave, and you could catch him on an exit with a little hook, and he could go out. Mick Conlan could get stopped. That chin is pretty glass this stage of his career. Yeah, and the chat is torn as I'm torn. Where are we at? Is it stoppage? Is it points? And the odds are pretty same. I think the odds for the points are plus 180, and the odds for the stoppage is plus 120. We're gonna have a look though. The Mayweather is in the house. What's up, player? What's up, Mosby's? Dominican fighters are coin toss because they have a tendency of being lazy. That is some. That is. I don't know about that, dude. That is to say that about all people from the DR is crazy, big dog. I love the DR. I used to go there once a year. I have a lot of good memories in the DR, man. Um, Big fan. To say that they're lazy and have a tendency to not wanting to train, I can't. I don't like doing generalizations. I think Carlos Adames is going to put belt to ass, though. Looking forward to this. There's some good fights, man, especially for the true blue boxing heads. We're only 5 minutes in. We're floating between 50 and 70 off rip. Like this video, subscribe to the channel. Let me know how you're doing. Let's get this money. Anyone think TKV can beat Richard? 101 cuts with the hot take out of the UK. TKV impressed people in his last fight, man. Richard Riakpo. I mean, how much, how are you going to bet your money on that fight? Is that a fight that you're going to invest in terms of your hard-earned cash? It's not on my radar. We're probably going to bet on it because you know how we do here. You boys will ask, and then, ask and thou shall receive. I am PJ. What's up, Hunter? What's up, G? Hopefully you're well. Bum Equipment, my guy. Bum Equipment. King Kevin Walsh is looking good this weekend. Are you going to break this fight down later this week? Kevin Walsh. Might as well just, I guess we're here, aren't we? Yeah, I guess we're here now. So this is what Bum is talking about. No method of victory. This is the main event. I uploaded Adames and Ammo. That was a re-upload because we know they were supposed to fight a couple months ago, and Adames pulled out. Does that worry me that he pulled out? I was told it was food poisoning, maybe bad weight cut. We'll see. That video is up on our fight prediction playlist. Stats don't lie. You guys can see my breakdown. I might do this one. Johnny can't trust if anything is happening health-wise. Begging the scenes. Sub Johnny, yeah. Just can't trust if anything is happening health-wise. Begging the scenes with Adames, not touching that one. Do you know why Kolioka is in France and Coley is risking his mandatory? I don't know about that. You're not touching Adames versus Ammo. I think that's I think that's a gimme, dude. I think that's a free layup. I think Emma Williams is a guy that Matchroom has put in front of us. He's an athlete who's learning how to box. Carlos Adames has been at the world level for almost a decade, man. That dude one of the first times I heard of Carlos Adames was when he was fighting at 147. This was in 2017. And sparring footage of him versus Bud Crawford went viral. And I was like, who the fuck is this guy? And Adames, it was just tit for tat, dude. War. I'm sure you guys probably have seen that sparring foot. That was when I first heard of Adames, and he was on my radar. I think all people could get lazy, brother. EJ, what's up, brother? Long time. Let's look at these odds, guys. Let's see what we're talking about. Mosby's, I get you, man. I know what you're talking about, brother. Wow, people are really getting gun shy about Adames versus Ammo. That's crazy. I don't see it, man. I don't understand where the hesitation's coming in. Jimmy Sains is a good fight. Vasoli, George Liddard versus Tyler Denny, Lester Martinez versus Aleem. There are some good. This is the fight. This is the fight that I put up on my Instagram. Jacob Gomez versus Corey Marksman. Corey Marksman in 2025 won us a lot of money. We took him by stoppage in his last 2 fights, and he won by stoppage. This is a good fight. I'm probably 70-30 on Marksman right now. I'm still watching a little bit of tape of Jacob Gomez. They're both, I think they both have a draw on their record. Marksman avenged his draw and got the win. I think they should still be both undefeated. Marksman is, I don't know if he's still, he was he was sparring partners with Shakur for a while. We've heard about, we've talked about Corey Marksman on the channel for a while now. I'm actually, those odds are actually interesting to me. So he's right now a plus 170 underdog. 25 years old. A 5'9" lightweight. Orthodox fighter, 2 smooth, 12-0, 1 draw, 9 wins by knockout. Yeah, he fought on those Caribe Royale cards. We won money on him when he stopped Nieves. We won money on him when he stopped Beltran. Here's who he's fighting. He's fighting Jacob Gomez, who's also undefeated. Gomez is 14-0 with 8 knockouts. He might be a little bit bigger. I know he might be a little bit smaller. It looks like he might be coming up in weight. Is this fight at 35 or 30? This fight's at 35. Jacob Gomez is listed at 130. Let's see if he's coming up. Does the 5 pounds matter? One's 5'9". Yeah. So Jacob Gomez is coming up in weight. So you got Jacob Gomez coming up in weight. He's the favorite. Both guys could crack. Both guys have pop. 5'8" southpaw versus a 5'9" Guys, this might be fight of the night, dude. Put an asterisk on this fight, guys. People, I know the mainstream media is not going to pick this fight up. I'm going to break this fight down. I'm going to give Corey Marksman and Jacob Gomez some love. This is a freaking fun fight. Dude, at 25, 26 years old, one's 24, one's 25. They're both undefeated. They're going to put their undefeated records on the line. We need more of that. Both kids could crack. They've been in there with some decent competition. And right now the odds have Jacob Gomez at $1.66 favorites. However, whichever one you like, there's value on this fight. Even if you like Jacob to win, a 66% return as a parlay piece is great. If you're going heavy on him and your bankroll is deep, 10 grand on Jacob on the money line gets you 6,600 back. I only reference that option because we have guys in our Discord who bet that way. Now, Corey Marksman, undefeated kid who could crack, who's the bigger puncher or who's the bigger fighter naturally. I mean, he, statistically speaking, he's won us money the last 2 fights by knockout at plus money, plus 140. It's hard for me to bet against Marksman. I still have to do more tape. I'll let you know in the next 48 hours who I'm going with, but put an asterisk by that fight. Let me know if you have any opinions on these 2 fighters, Jacob Gomez or Corey Marksman. I'm interested in hearing your takes. Strip House. Dog, did we work together there? That's crazy. That's crazy if you used to work with me at the Strip House. That was a different life. That was Las Vegas. 160 is my division. Look out for Malachi Ross. Yo, real Malachi Ross. Hey, we got an eye on you, big dog. We got an asterisk by your name, big homie. Write it down. I'm going to give you some love. We're not only going to write it down. Malachi's 16 pro, 16 AMI fights. BoxRec is killing me. $4-0 pro. Malachi, of course, man. You support us, we support you. That's how we do here. We got fighters in the chat. We got coaches in the chat. Shout out to Coach Bermudez, Yo-Yo's coach. Yo-Yo's fighting Terrell Gachet coming up, which is another good fight. Guys, follow Real Malachi Ross. He's a 4-0 pro fighting out of Grandview, Missouri. 6'1". Nice, man. Nice reach. Yo, keep me updated when you fight again, bro. 100%. You think Conlan versus Walsh is 50-50? Look, guys, at this stage of the game, when you're talking about Mick Conlan, we know about the hype that he once had. We know about what's happened to him in his career. We've seen him get stopped. We've seen him pick himself off of the canvas. There are a lot of good fights to make money this weekend. Am I going to pick Kevin Walsh as the dog there? I don't quite know yet. I don't know yet. Is that a full unit bet for me? A Mick Conlan fight at this stage of the game in 2026? I'm not sure. Guys, just like this video, we're popping right now, 15 minutes in. I'm going to stay on for at least an hour. We got MMA to talk about, but I'm going to wait till Thursday. For all you MMA fans, the second live stream of the day on Thursday will all be about that UFC card. Just like this video, subscribe. We got a lot to get into, boys. Let's get after it. Brandon says, going to wait for the weigh-ins. You're going to wait for the weigh-ins. Let's see if we could, let's see if we could, we got some research to do, gents. So I typed in, why did Carlos Adames pull out of the Ammo fight the first time? Adames withdrew from his WBC middleweight title defense against Ammo Williams due to severe illness, specifically reported as dehydration during his weight cut. So bad cut. Okay. He was hospitalized and forced to pull out the day before the fight. It's never a good look. But these things like this happen, guys. If you've ever had to cut weight before, things like this do happen. Maybe he had an injury during fight camp and his weight was a little bit heavy. Who knows? But this guy is a world champion for a reason. When you're looking at, his body of work, his resume, how he fights, his fight IQ, his traps, the skill set he brings, his body punching, his pace, he can be a little bit patient early on in fights. Not to say that he's going to give you a round or two early, but he better be switched on. I think Ammo's best chance is jumping on Adames early before and not give Adames time to figure Ammo out. But Ammo's not a tricky guy to figure out. You know what you're going to get. You're going to get this really aggressive front foot style fighter, keeps his chin in the air, aggressive as hell, comes in on a straight line, backs up on a straight line, doesn't really feint a lot, and throws mostly power punches. I think he's going to be susceptible to the body. I think he's going to be his timing, guys. I always talk about this in boxing. More than a power puncher, more than a knockout to win ratio, more than size, more than reach, more than speed. The number one, in my opinion, the number one element of a world-class fighter, what they do better than all their opponents, is timing. I will take timing over all of those aforementioned skill sets. And Ammo's timing compared to Carlos, he overswings, he gets out on his front foot, he puts himself off balance. His feet and his balance aren't the best. He puts himself out of position by overswinging, and I think I think we're gonna see, I think Adames is gonna make it look easy. Nobody wants to put their hand up to fight Sergey Derevyanchenko. Even at 40 years old, nobody's calling out Sergey Derevyanchenko. Derevyanchenko's a nightmare. I remember when there was a kid from Sydney, Australia. He was an 18-0. He was an 18-0 middleweight. Might have been a super middleweight. Billy Akaway. Dude, this would have been 7 years ago. Billy Akaway, shout out to Bill Akaway. His dad's a good coach too. Billy Akaway had a lot of hype about him, mate. And he fought Sergey Derevyanchenko, and Akaway was probably 21. It was on a Canelo Alvarez undercard in Las Vegas. So you have this kid from Sydney who's 21, who's a knockout artist, with all this hype around him, gets positioned on a Canelo card in Vegas, and Derevyanchenko, I know he didn't retire Akaway, but he totally derailed his career. So this is Billy. So he 22-1. When he fought Derevyanchenko, I think he might have been 20-0. He's only fought and that was what, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. My bad. It wasn't Derevyanchenko. It was John Ryder. I get those two confused. It was John Ryder on the Canelo Danny Jacobs card 7 years ago. I always get Derevyanchenko and John Ryder confused based on two guys that are impossible to stop that nobody calls out. You know what I mean? You never hear anyone calling out Derevyanchenko. And I know Ryder already, long in the tooth. Triangle Theory resume. What have you done for me lately? All points to Adames. Let's go. Lester's fighting this weekend, boys. The Guatemalan power punching, power boxing future world champion, Lester Martinez, baby, fights out of B&B Boxing, fights, in Bomac is his coach. We just saw him fight Christian and Billy, which was really a tale of two fights. You feel like rounds 1 through 5, Lester versus Billy, the adjustment Lester made in round 5, if they do fight again, Lester is going to fight that way from round 1 onwards. And that's why we want to see that rematch. We want to see how that one would go. Bronco Adames Fundora. Yeah, I think Fundora versus Keith is not this week, but the following week. It's another fight that I think Fundora will make look easy. People think I'm not. Gio Vasoli fight. He should win that fight. At least I rate Gio Vasoli. I think he's really good. I think he's a good prospect. He's really young. I like how they've been matching him up too. This is not an easy fight, but the kid is super athletic, good reflexes, good speed, can really do it all. I'm a fan of Vasily. I like what I've seen so far. You ever interview fighters? Boxing outcome. This isn't supposed to sound arrogant, but Google my name. I've written 2 books. I've published 2 books, and in those books, you'll find interviews with Evander Holyfield, George Foreman, Larry Holmes, Layla Ali. I've been interviewing fighters, world champions, scientists, best-selling authors, millionaires, inventors. I've been doing that for over a decade now. So yeah, to answer your question, yeah. My boy, high interest, we still good. Like this video, boys. Boxing Outcomes, my guy. Appreciate you. Good questions. Johnny and all the sharks. We out here hunting. Yeah, we have a very educated chat, guys. The best part about our chat is we know that we don't always have to agree. We're gonna talk it out though. Malachi Ross. Yeah, he's pro. He's 4-0. He's 4-0 pro. Write his name down. We're gonna support. We're gonna prop up Malachi Ross. We did it with Joseph Brown. Joseph the Prodigy Brown. I've had him on the show before. I think Joseph has had 5 pro fights out of BC, British Columbia, but was training with Benavidez Sr. in the Pacific Northwest in Tacoma, Washington. Had him on the show. 13-time U.S. champ. Oh, dude, Malachi Ross, he's next. Can't wait to put Malachi in a parlay. Malachi, if you're still watching, I told you the chat knows who you are, bro. Non-Ever's taking Walsh. Let's see what those odds look like, boys. We got a lot to talk about. Let's look at we'll look at the odds, but then let's bring up Kevin's resume. I don't think anybody in our chat is super confident in taking Mick Conlan in that fight. These are the odds. So Kevin is a plus 360. Now let's pull up his King Kevin Walt, 19-0. Here's what mixed up. We got to see who he's fought. We got to see what that resume is like. You got to do a deep dive, see the competition. 19-0, 5'7". He fights at 125 pounds. He's already 33 years old. He's from Brockton, Massachusetts. Isn't that Brockton, Massachusetts? Brockton. Isn't that where Marvin Hagler was from? Where's Marvin Hagler from? Let's go. Come on. You know who you're dealing with out here, boy. We got to keep our minds sharp. As soon as I saw Brockton, I was like, oh shit. That's where the great, marvelous Marvin Hagler was from. So Kevin Walsh on principle representing Brockton. Brockton, Mass. I mean, Jose Sosa has it, he just come. Where's this fight at? Is this fight at 130? Make Conlan 20-3. Conlan's obviously been in there with the better people. Yeah, it's at 125, 126. Former world champion. Yeah, the TJ Doheny win. What happened to Luis Alberto Lopez, man? Remember Luis Alberto Lopez? The biggest head scratcher for me was the Jordan Gill loss. No offense to Jordan Gill. Jordan Gill, great guy. But Gill had all these things, all these out of the ring issues. He was struggling with mental health. You thought Jordan Gill was literally like one step away from retiring at the time. He was only in his 20s. And he goes in a massive underdog against Mick Conlan and he beats Conlan. It's like, Jesus, man. So I don't know. That's a risky fight. Is the 3-1 dog Kevin Walsh worth the sprinkle? Oh, yeah. He's almost a 4-1 dog. Is he worth the sprinkle? I think so. I think Ammo just come forward. I don't know, brother, if it goes the distance. Yeah, I could. That's where I'm torn on, guys. Like, my biggest question with Ammo versus Carlos is, will Carlos win on points or will Carlos stop Ammo? Wasn't Adames at one point a potential opponent for Canelo a couple years ago? Yeah. At one, it would have been at 160, 154. Because Adames started at 47. So probably when Canelo, it would have been maybe like 7 years ago. If Ammo wins or loses, where do you see him going from here? Now, I think Ammo is going to lose. I think Ammo is an American domestic level guy. He's like a B minus fighter. And this dude, super marketable, fan friendly style. He has the fighter mentality. He wants to be there. He's super determined. But I feel when we're watching Ammo, we're watching an athlete learn on the job how to box. That's all fine. We've seen this work out before. The issue is when we're watching an athlete learn on the job how to box and he's doing it in real time at the world level, all of the elements that make a world level boxer world level are the things that take a lifetime to learn, like setups, traps, feints, timing. It's the timing for me. That's the biggest thing. You could talk about the nickname Ammo Williams. You could talk about his power, his aggression, his front foot style. You could talk about a marketable southpaw. You could talk about all these things. But when you're at the world level, timing trumps everything. Timing trumps speed. Timing trumps power. Timing trumps marketability. When you're able to catch a guy coming in and out, tap, boom, tap, frustrate, boom, body rip, angle, turn him, angle, counter, catch him coming in. And then you mix that with the determined style of Ammo. I could just see Ammo getting, in front of his boots and getting caught. I don't want to underplay his opponent. I have to watch more tape. Do I think Lester's opponent is any good? He has to be good enough to be in there with Lester Martinez. I think Lester Martinez is a future world champion. So his opponent has to be good enough to be in there with him. I have to watch more tape. Let's look at the odds. Guys, it's Tuesday at 10:30 a.m. here in Sydney, Australia. Wherever you are in the world, we're an international show. I say welcome. We got a lot of fights ahead, man. This live stream, we're floating between 80 and 100 people. Just like the videos, support the cause. Join our Johnny Says Boxing Discord. The link is pinned. A couple bucks a month. You get access to all of our picks, but you gain access to our community. So I just want to show the boy. This is our Discord. We're currently at 430. If you've never been to our Discord, it's not just boxing, bet slips, NBA, American football, hockey, soccer, baseball, tennis, NRL, Aussie rules football, motocross, boxing, and MMA. So I just want to see what the boys are chatting about. Foster, did they just see? This is why you gotta love our chat. Breaking news: Eddie Hearn said that terms of a fight between WBC super featherweight champion Shock Foster and former featherweight titles Ray Porter. Yo, that's a fight, man. How do you, boys? Where are you standing on this? Shock versus Ray. Shock versus Savage. I think Shock has always been really underrated. I've always won money on Shock Foster. Even when he, the couple close fights that didn't go his way, we just saw him put belt to ass, literally a virtuoso performance against Cool Boy. And I think the energy, the youthfulness, the confidence of Savage, this makes for actually, I think Savage could pull out a version of Foster that could be a firefight. Shock's catch encounters, his timing, his ability to set traps. Shock Foster's a real problem. And he's big. This fight's at 130. He's big too. So, guys, to get into our Discord, look at RIP Phoenix. Lots of good news coming today. We got the top ranked news. We got the fight breaking news. What's this? Hamza, Shiraz. Hey, champ. Tim Zoo, I'd like you to come train at my camp. I'm sure you could become a champion again. What is this? Carlos Adames sends a message to his fans. He says he's ready for whatever January. That was January 31st. Emma Williams told me that he's on his way to being the face of the middleweight division. That means destroying WBC champ Bronco. All right. We're going to get back to the odds. So that's our Discord, guys. To get in our Discord, the link is pinned. Be our 435th, be our 431st insider. Pop in there now. Where were we? We were on the odds now, and we were talking about Kevin Walsh. So Kevin Walsh, Conlan, plus 360. And then somebody else asked me about Lester's opponent, Emmanuel Alim, plus 750. Look, this, I don't want to say this is a feature. The promoters, the handlers, this is Pro Box. They know what they have. They think, let me say this. The Pro Box handlers, they think they have, and I think they're accurate, a world champion with Lester. You know, the popularity he has in his home country, Guatemala, and a lot of that part of the world, North America, is only growing. He just won Fight of the Year against Christian and Billy in a draw that some people say Lester won. This is his first fight since that fight. So I don't want to really call this a showcase fight, but it is a showcase fight. This is a feature fight. I am going to do my due diligence and tape Emmanuel Alim, but all things considered, Lester's first fight back since the fight against Billy, who they think they have with Lester Martinez, his style, pressure, knockout to win ratio. I'm going to tape Alim, and I'm going to see if he has enough durability to hang in there with Lester, but, you know, the knockout prop is probably in play here. Can Tyler Denny pull off the upset? Julius, you're talking about our boy George Liddard. So George Liddard is fighting Tyler Denny. Tyler Denny is a kid, I think he's, 23-3 with one knockout? George Liddard is on the other end of his career. We'll pull both of these up. We've covered George Liddard on the channel. He was a slight favorite in his last fight against Kieran Conway. I think that was for the Commonwealth. And he won. I didn't pick him. I lost on Liddard in that fight. I thought Kieran Conway's resume, I thought Kieran Conway's sort of experience would be too much for Liddard. And Liddard just looked. Look, guys, If the George Liddard is the same guy who fought Kieran Conway, he has no trouble with Tyler Denny. You're gonna need some sort of power. You're gonna need some sort of danger coming back at George Liddard for him to, go from plan A to plan B. I talked about this with Barbosa Jr. and Kenny Sims. I said that the minute that Barbosa Jr. feels that there is no threat of power coming back at him from Kenny, it's going to be all downhill. It's exactly what happened. The minute that Liddard feels that Tyler Denny can't hurt him, George should run. I mean, Tyler Denny's he's a good enough boxer. He uses the entire ring. He has the more experience. A lot of the things, though, he is a more craftier boxer than Kieran Conway was. I thought, I know some of you guys picked Liddard. I think we took Kieran was a slight dog. It might have been a 50-50 fight on paper. I thought that Conway's resume and his experience was going to be enough because Liddard's still young in his career, and it just wasn't. Liddard did not look out of place. Will Tyler Denny make Liddard look out of place? I don't think so. I was really impressed with Liddard, man. Mob Cash. We are from Sydney, Australia, big dog. We grew up in Youngstown, Ohio, though. So, grew up in Youngstown, Ohio, lived in Long Beach, California for 7 years, lived in Las Vegas, Nevada, and now I live in Sydney. The book I use is called Sportsbet. It's Australian. Yo, Johnny, you got to use Brave as your barber. All them annoying. See? Rudy, thank you. I'm going to put that in my notes. I learned so much from you guys, man. If it wasn't for you guys, I would have never started the Discord months ago. So you got to use Brave. I never even heard of Brave. You guys know I'm old. I'll be 44 next month. So my birthday's coming up. What are you guys going to give me? I only say I'm going to be 44 because I didn't grow. I'm so old. We didn't have the internet when I was young. So I don't know about these browsers. I never even heard of Brave. Brave browser. I just found out I don't even know how to use a VPN. Brave browser. Okay. Thanks, brother. Rocky Marciano, Brockton. I knew there was another one. I was going. You know what? Will, I was going to say Jack Dempsey, but I'm glad I bit my tongue. I knew it was somewhere in that golden era. So it was Rock. The Brockton. That was in his nickname, wasn't it? Wasn't Rocky Marciano's nickname the Brockton Brawler? Was it the Brockton Brawler? Little Showtime in the house. Hagler and Rocky. Julius, hell nah. Hell nah. I accidentally added Walsh to a parlay, letting it ride. Kevin. Lopez got brain bleed. That sucks. He was fun to watch. I didn't know that, man. He was fun to watch. Sometimes it takes Carlos a few rounds to get his engine running, but Ammo's always on that Autobahn. He goes hard, fast all the time, which will also work in Carlos' favor. He'll walk in the shot. Yeah, Barium, I agree. It's you'd have to think Carlos is, Carlos will use his ring savviness. Carlos will use his movement and his feet to navigate those first few rounds. Jab, slip, grab. He's a good boxer, man. Carlos Adames is world class, dude. He does a lot of these little things that if you've never boxed before, you might not pick up on them. What he's doing, the foot feints, the head feints, the jab and slips, the angling you off. He'll turn you. Not a lot of fighters turn their opponents. That's the most frustrating thing when you're watching, like at the domestic level, fighters not knowing how to turn. It was frustrating to watch for me, it was really frustrating to watch the John O'Carroll Colin Murphy fight. It was so domestic. I love the minutia of boxing. I love the technical. I like the things that you can't see. I like the traps. I like the setups. I like the feints. I like the techniques of it. And when you're watching domestic, I'm still a nerd. I still watch the fight. It was still enjoyable. Our guy, Colin lost a close split decision. But when you're watching, like, you go from a Colin Murphy fight when he fought John O'Carroll to like watching Arnold Barbosa Jr. the same day and watching all the things Arnold does. I don't understand that. Arnold Barbosa Jr. has always been one of my favorite fighters because of all these little things that he does that on paper there aren't stats for. You know what I mean? I think the average boxing fan likes the paper. It's no secret. They like the record, the knockouts, etc. But watching the little, Arnold Barboza Jr. has always been really good at these little things, these little nuanced things of how to score, how to win rounds, how to keep close rounds in his favor, how to not get too far behind on cards. And you watch what he did to Sims, and earlier in the day we watched Colin Murphy versus John O'Carroll. You get to see like this gap, the levels of what the sport presents itself. And I think when I'm thinking about an Ammo Williams versus Carlos Adames matchup, that's what I see. I see these levels that are probably going to be on full display. Now, Ammo's shot is early. Ammo's shot is his, explosivity, his power, his aggression. I just think that works only to a certain extent as you're climbing. Once you get to like the top of the staircase, what used to work before doesn't always work. And and to come full circle, to put a ribbon on this, I like what I saw with Barbosa Jr. You could tell he did this camp in Big Bear. He went with Abel Sanchez. You could see that the loss to Teofimo Lopez, in his style, he added something to his style. He was on his toes a lot more. He was dancing a lot more. He was using his range. He was using his ability to control range and distance to come in and out a lot more. He was having fun in there. And it really showed, man. I'm excited to see what's next for Barbosa Jr. And I think we're going to see levels with Ammo and Carlos. Adames points, Ituama points on a small... Ituama points. Shout out. Barry Unboxing says Carlos will make Ammo miss shots too. If his head movement in Ross fight, Ammo will likely get stopped. He has good beard, but this is the first that I've heard someone talk about this last sentence, but it's a valuable point. Good eye, Barry Unboxing, very good point here. He says Ammo will likely get stopped. This is the one I like. He has a good chin, good beard, but he might be overtrained at this point. That's the thing, man. There is a thing with being too active. How many camps have you had? How many weight cuts have you had? How many sparring rounds have you had? How much recovery have you had, or how much recovery have you not had? So I haven't heard anybody mention that, but it's a very valid point and another example of our chat being educated. I think Lester get the stoppage, bro. His opponent, yeah. I think we're all believers in Lester now, right? On our chat. I think we're all believers in Lester. Watching, I picked Billy to win. Our bet pushed because it was obviously a draw. But I got to be honest with you. That adjustment Lester made in the end of round 4. If they fight again, I would take Lester to beat Billy. I would. If those two are exactly the same and that's the same fight, 12 rounds this time instead of 10, I think Lester knows how to beat Billy now. You got to meet him. You got to meet him with the same pace. If you better have your lunch pill with him, Billy, and you better have a gas tank. And I think Lester, it took him a few rounds to believe in himself that he could fight Billy in that style. But then he changed range, though. Round 5, Lester created a little bit of space and started fighting him at a different distance, almost at the mid-range, and was having a lot of success. Damn, that's a fight I want to see again. Yeah, me too. I like Shock. People sleep on Shock. Shock's a beast. Shock's a big 130. Let's go, Johnny. Great weekend of boxing. Going heavy on Adames stoppage plus 150. Love Adames gas tank to take out. Yeah. Guys, there isn't a better sport. We have this shit every week, dude. It's crazy. We get to do this every week. We get to shoot the shit with our boys about the best sport on earth, and we get to make money on it. I know you guys are making money. If you're hanging around here, you're making money. Guys, we're 45 minutes in. I'm going to stay on for a little longer. We're going between 80 and 100 in this live. Like the video. Make sure you watch my breakdown, analysis, and prediction of the Adames versus Ammo fight. It's a re-upload because I already uploaded it when they were first supposed to fight. It's on the fight prediction playlist. It was uploaded again today. You'll see my breakdown. I think I'm going to do one of these one of those undercard fights as well. We talked about it earlier in the stream. The one that I put up, Jacob Gomez. The Jacob Gomez fight. That's a freaking good fight. Check your books, boys. The only reason I'd be worried about playing Adamas by stoppage is because Adamas isn't big at once. No. Carlos cut his started at 47, and he was sparring Bud when Bud was going up from 35 to 40. After Bud beat Ricky Burns, when Bud beat Ricky Burns at 135, if the timeline's right, I think that was the camp after. Was it Delorme? I'd have to look, but that's when I saw him sparring Adamas. So Adamas couldn't have been bigger than 145, maybe, but he was fighting at 47. Ammo Williams is the bigger guy, and he's pretty durable. Now he is. The thing is, he is hit, man. Yeah. So right now at $1.31, let's talk about the options we have. Let's talk about the betting strategy real quick for all the bettors and our options currently of Ammo versus Carlos. And this is why we call ourselves we're really a betting academy, because we're not just picking who's going to win. We're going to talk about the strategies of it. All right. As this stands right now, if you're on Team Adamas, the safest pick, because it's still a good parlay piece at 31% return, the safest pick, in my opinion, is the money line pick. You take Carlos at $1.31. That's a 31% return. You could find one other fight and create plus money from this. Or you could add it to like a 3-leg or a 4-legger. We're probably going to do that as well. I'm going to post my first ticket today, by the way. So stay tuned to the Patreon. Stay tuned to the YouTube members only section. And you're going to see my first ticket of many. That's the safest, Adamas money line, if you're on Team Adamas. Now, look at the odds. Points or knockout. Right now, there's more money coming in on Carlos to stop Ammo at $1.30 plus 130. So the books are saying that it's more likely for Adamas to stop Ammo. Now, when I see that, I always think the contrarian to me is like, well, if all this quick money's coming in on the stoppage, I could see Ammo going the distance. That was my first take last night on our live stream, if you tuned in. My initial take of the week was Adamas on points, so that's plus 180. You're going to have a good conversation for both. If I am going to play a prop, guys, that'll be on its own ticket. So, and I am going to play a prop. So you will see my choice of either Adamas on points or Adamas by stoppage. Because it's plus money, I will put that on its own ticket. That's the strategy of betting. The last thing we want to do is pick a prop, a method of victory, and put it on all of our parlays, and then it doesn't hit, and then all of your tickets lose. You got to understand the strategy. We're already at plus money either way you dice it, so just leave it on its own ticket. Now, the money line Adamas at $1.31, I'm probably going to play that a few times. I really like, at $1.31, it's good value to a 4-leg. And, if you play a dog or someone at like a 50-50 fight, you put that and Adamas together on a double, you could find plus money. So that's where I'm standing right now as Tuesday at 10:45 a.m. How do you feel about Hutch versus Ezra? I think I like Hutchinson. I think, and I watched Willie Hutchinson versus Ezra Taylor. They do these interviews. I think it's Matchroom's YouTube channel, to where at the fights last weekend, I don't know if they were in Dublin. It might have been the weekend before, but Hutchinson and Ezra were getting interviewed. And when you talk about the psychology of an A-side and B-side fighter, and you guys know this, maybe it's an American thing. It could be like Shakur versus Teo. They're doing the media, and you're watching them in the same room, and you don't know who the A-side is, you don't know who the B-side is. Because neither fighter is going to give. Even if the fighter is the B-side, he's not going to say he's the B-side. The interesting thing with Hutch and Ezra just fully admitted he was the B-side. Ezra was placating the fact that it's his biggest step-up fight. And Hutch was like, well, it was supposed to be somebody else. It wasn't supposed to be Ezra. Ezra put his hand up late because was it Mark Chamberlain? I don't know. It was another one of these guys, these Brits. And Ezra kind of, came in late. He's still green. I like Hutch in that fight. Yeah, Mosby. It ain't happening, brother. You're not the only one. Self-made. You're not the only one. Just to give you a little bit of credence to your bet, if you take Tyler Denny, I'm not going to blame you because there's a few boys in our Discord who like Tyler Denny. I'm going to reach out to Joe Stunner. We're going to reach out to our UK sources in the squad. We're going to see what he has to say. I like George. I like the camp he comes from. I like the youthfulness. I like his energy. If that George Liddard is if that's who he is, if that guy is who he is against Kieran Conway, that guy is going to be a champion, man. There is a lot to like about George Liddard. Ammo, I don't think Ammo ever really looks good in his fights, man. I mean, he fought. Let's talk about this. Ammo fought Windy Toussaint. 24-hour notice. Windy's a 154 guy. That fight was at 168. And Windy, won maybe 1 or 2 rounds and lost the decision. I don't know, man. I don't think Ammo. I've never watched an Ammo fight and be like, wow, this dude's gonna be a world champion. What do you think about Seb Fandora by decision? I like Fandora to beat Keith. I'm probably gonna take him by stoppage. That you'll know my official pick next week. I just think that we have to talk about the inactivity. We have to talk about Keith's only fought twice since 2019. We have to talk about this fight's at 154. Keith Thurman, don't count Brock Jarvis, has never fought at 154. Brock Jarvis was a 140 pounder who got stopped against Liam Paro here in Sydney. Keith's legs, his feet, his height difference, his reach. He's 37 years old. Seb Fandora has a lot to deal with, guys. I think Seb breaks him down and stops him. Tyler Denny beat Felix Cash and Brad Brea. Holla. Holla. Brian Mendoza to beat. Whoa. I'm not that kind of mad at that. I'm a fan of Mendoza, dude. Mendoza just had a stay busy fight too in Mexico, 6 weeks ago? Yanis Tejas is coming off a really flat performance. Well, Tejas is fighting this weekend, and then he's fighting next week against Mendoza, which is kind of like, what are we doing? And I don't know if Tejas is who people think he is. Wasn't that we just saw Abbas Baral just belt the ass? And then, we just saw what happened to Abbas in his last fight. What a great sport, guys. I get all the credit because it's my channel, but I say this all the time. Our chat, dude, when it comes to like knowledge of the sport, man, it's why we're all at like the same level, man. You guys know your shit. Adonis Lester Hutch is in the bank. I agree. If Jermaine Franklin is around the same weight he was against AJ, I think he can take Itama the full 10. The thing is, man, that fight, the Moses Itama fight, I don't know where I stand with that fight. It's like, what do we we need to all have. I think the best. This is why we win consistently with our picks. Yeah, it helps that we know the sport. There's another reason why we win consistently is because we pick up on pattern recognitions of fighters. Death taxes Gabby Fandora by knockout. We said, we're gonna roll with Gabby by knockout until she doesn't get a knockout, and that's exactly what happened. 5th in a row. The three for sure's. Death taxes Gabby by KO. It worked for us, right? That's a pattern that we pick up and then we always hit, right? It's really tough for me to go against patterns. We haven't seen Moses Itulama slowing down. We haven't seen it yet. Until I see it, it's tough for me to use as a narrative and reasoning on why I'm betting. You need to prove it to me. You know what I'm saying? You need to show me. I need to see Moses fade. I need to see Moses. And it's in this way, this strategy of betting is worth losing a bet. Because if you stick to that sort of mindset, if you stick to that principle, I haven't seen Moses look anything faded. Like he's going to win by stoppage. That's what he does. Until he doesn't, I'm probably not going to bet the other bet. You know what I mean? So it's a tough one. It's not my exact pick, but that's kind of how I roll generally. if a guy's on a winning streak, if a guy has a certain record against southpaws, if a guy, is a notorious, win by points, these are patterns that unless I see otherwise, I'm not going to bet against it. Unless they're going to not, I think so. Skills in the house. We got some super chats. Everything by John. Win or lose, you see Ammo career. Win or lose, do you see? Yeah, he is career, bro. He definitely. Ammo's marketable, man. He's a good guy. He seems like I don't know him personally. I do watch a lot of interviews because I interview and I write, so I like that side of the game. I think that's a side note. Why Zuffa will be good for boxing is because they do these little mini documentaries on each fighter. Even the guys, guys we've never heard of, they're giving them camera time. That's great for our sport. So the camera time I've seen with Ammo, I like what I hear. Marketable, fun style. Of course, I mean he's gonna come back, dude. Will he? If he loses, he'll have to rebuild himself. He'll have to build. But this is boxing. He's not even 30 yet. Just entering his physical prime. It's why we have the greatest sport. The idea that a kid could lose and you just throw him away, I've never agreed to that. You know what I'm saying? I've never played by those rules. I never thought that was a fair thing to do. And we see time and time again fighters lose and they rebuild themselves back up. It's always great to see. It's why, it was really good to see Josh beat Murtazaev. Not only because we picked him to beat Murtazaev, but because I first interviewed Josh in 2016, Josh Kelly, right after the Olympics, the 2016 Olympics. And then, documenting his career, watching the hype he had, watching him go to Madison Square Garden and fight a really tough Ray Robinson to a draw, and then watching all of the media turn their back on him, build himself back up after a draw, and then watch him get broken down against David Evanesyan, and once again everybody turned their back on him. So now this has happened twice in a few years, and then it took him even longer to rebuild, and then he rebuilds and finally gets a title shot. And I went heavy on him to beat Murtazaev based off of the character it takes to rebuild in this sport. And so we've seen Ammo's had a rebuild before. Ammo's rebuild got him this shot. So I have no doubt that he could come back if he loses. So I'm not all about throwing guys away after losses either. Jazza Dickens, even though he just lost to Kakachi, man, he had to rebuild over and over. And then, he goes into Turkey as a 5-1 dog against a really hyped, former Olympian in Albert Badagaziev. And Jazza stops him in under 5 rounds, dude. Best sport on earth. Money to be made this weekend. Win Santiago. All we do is win, win, win. You and your season years, baby. Motherfucker in his season years, baby. Let's get it. That makes me laugh. Thanks for the last week's tips, bro. Thanks for your support, Win. Thanks for the super chat. Yeah, we're always up. We still good. The Brockton Blockbuster. LBJ in the house. Hello, Johnny. When I have some questions about the tickets in the Patreon, can I text you on page? Of course, bro. I'm here for you. LBJ's a Patreon boy. I'm here for you, big dog. You send me a message. I'll see what time it is. Big up, John O'Carroll. 4 Seasons Trust. Big up, Jono. Did just enough. I wouldn't have been mad either way. I wasn't. I thought the optics from the 6th round onwards, it was like, I think moving forward for the young Colin Murphy, what he's going to take from that fight is body posturing. That matters, man. When you got a kid after each round in these close nip and tuck rounds, and you got the John O'Carroll going like this to the crowd, like this, and you got Colin Murphy around 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, kind of looking sort of disinterested, lost. That matters. And I think looking back at the tape, the effort, I think he could have gave a little bit more. So even though I picked Colin and he lost a split, I think Jono did enough, man. I do. Took Colin Murphy to school like he said he would. I wouldn't say he took him to school. I disagree. I just think we saw the pedigree, the experience. Crispy Chris in the house. Been a while. We always eating. Sam from Pet knows what time it is. We eating again. We got Boxing Finesse with the super chat. Thanks, boys. Appreciate you coming in. How do you feel about Adames via stoppage? I can see it, man. I can see it. I think I'm actually. There's the odds. The stoppage. All right. You guys. The longer you guys hang out with me, the more you guys are gonna learn how I think. Because they're both at plus money. The stoppage are the points. And I'm a bit of a, we got to find value. So we know the path. We could see the path of how Carlos stops him. And if you're taking Carlos to stop him at plus 130, you're gonna do it because of Carlos's strengths. Follow me here. But when you look at the points at plus 180, and you're gonna take Carlos to win on points at plus 180, you're gonna do it because of the strengths of ammo. And this has won us a lot of money in the last few weeks. If you remember, Jai Apataya versus Brandon Glanton, the entire universe picked Jai by knockout. And that was paying like $1.60. Us, took Jai on points at plus 385. Why? It had nothing to do with Jai. It had everything to do with Brandon and his durability and his toughness. Now, with that example, Brandon had never been stopped. We have seen ammo stopped before against a guy that Shiraz handled, against a guy that Adames handled pretty convincingly. I had Adames beating Shiraz 8-4, maybe 9-3, maybe 8-4 being nice, 8-4 being nice, but we know it was a draw. So because I've seen ammo stopped before against Shiraz, and that wasn't even like this. The version of Shiraz versus Berlanga, way better than the version of Shiraz versus Adames, and the version of Shiraz versus ammo. And this is why boxing is amazing, because Shiraz, I thought he lost to Adames, but he took so much with him. You learn on the go. That's why after a war, guys hug each other. Not only because there's mutual respect, but there's like a subconscious agreement of like, thank you for giving me that. You're taking things with you. Arnold Barboza, look what Barboza took from Teofimo Lopez. Lost a wide decision, and then look what Arnold looked like against Kenny. He took things from Teo. Teo gave him things, and Arnold used them. And I think that Shiraz did the same thing against Adames, and he looked great against Ed. And so maybe the stoppage is in play. Based off of my reasoning, maybe the stoppage, and I can see it happening. Let's get fancy. Oh, we're going to find dogs, baby. We're going to find dogs. Guys, we're over an hour in. We're floating between 85 and 105 people in this live. It's 11:02 in the morning, Sydney, Australia time. I have a powerlifting client at my gym downstairs in about an hour. I just uploaded Adames versus Ammo's prediction video. It's up on the fight prediction playlist. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Give me a like. We should have at least 50 likes. At one time, there was 115 people in here. If I end this stream and I see 40 likes, I'm going to be like, yo, Cats is hating. Y'all motherfuckers be hating. Thanks for the Barboza lot. We're all good, man. What Skills got to say? Carlos on points. UD 116, 112. He's been out a year. He will want to get the rounds in. See, this is it. So Rob is a fighter. This was my intuitive pick. My intuitive prop was Carlos on points. Been out a year. Even if he doesn't want, even if it's like not by choice, I'm gonna choose to get there. I think that's where it's trending. I think you know what? That's gonna be my prop. I'm gonna put it in as soon as this live stream ends. Skills, appreciate the push, brother. Big Parlay Jones. Where's my guy Shawnee Shine? I didn't like how he looked against Windy. I was yeah, and Shine, how he looked against Windy to defend ammo, it had to be tough to think that you were fighting for a world title, and then 24 hours before the world title, you get told that you're not fighting for a world title and you have a new opponent. That has to be tough, because now we're talking about a crash, and then you got to pick yourself back up. And so, And then, you know, you're going up. Wendy's a smaller guy. Fights at 154. The fight was at 68. Probably tough to get up to. Was it a bit disinterested? It wasn't his best performance. What's up, Parlay Jones? Do you think Giorgio Vasili? I like Gio. I like Gio. I rate Gio actually. Johnny Conlan looked good as he did. We won money. We had Conlan by knockout. He did look good though, but I mean, like with Mick Conlan. What the scouting on Kevin Walsh? He's a 33-year-old from Brockton, Massachusetts. He's 19-0. He just has it. This is his opportunity. Yeah, his resume is not very strong. I'm still gonna watch some tape. I got a friend who boxes out of Boston. I'm gonna send a message to him. Ranvar, Adamas easy lock. I don't think Amo's a great fighter at all. I think I think he makes it look easy. There's a card on Thursday. Yep. Coach Bermudez, you're back, brother. We miss you, big dog. Just start. So this is Yo-Yo's coach, by the way. So we've had fighters on the live stream so far today. And now we got coaches. So coach, how does Yo-Yo look versus Gachet? Are you still working with him? Because you know, you only has that Terrell Gachet fight going on. You're working with I thought you were with Tejas for his last fight. I thought you had so you weren't with him against Barral. I thought you were. Kevin training hard, he's a big puncher. You're talking about Kevin Newman. I'm not getting that fight, but Rob Skills, he's big on Newman. Was hoping somehow Barboza got the knockout. Yeah, he's just not a knockout puncher. All right, guys.